Hey, welcome to the newest episode of the Articulate Ox podcast. I am your host, Soma79. Thank you so much for joining me today. My guest today is return guest Aztech, Kirk. He does it all, man. He works on anime soundtracks. He is one of the top hip hop rappers in Boston. He's a legend from the past 20, 25. I don't even want to say how many years. But Aztech is the man. We talk a lot about hip hop here. We talk about what he has going on, his recent trip to Japan, the soundtrack he did over there, wrestling, of course, and a whole hell of a lot more. So Aztech drops knowledge every time he opens his mouth. I don't know. I could talk to him every week. So definitely check out Aztech on social media everywhere. His social media information will be in the comments and under his name during the video version of the interview. And why don't you check me out somewhere? I have my album, Quiet Life, Loud Friends, the extra loud expanded edition. Should be out by now. I have some CD copies I got pressed up, sent them out yesterday. So they should be here in a few weeks when this airs, I think. I'm not want to peel the curtain back too hard on how I run this show, but there's going to be some copies of my Bandcamp. We have bonus tracks featuring Honest to Grease God and Copyright. We have remixes of every song off the original album. We have all new album art on the inside and outside that I worked a lot on this weekend, way more than I thought I was going to. So there's a lot of little details in there. So check it out when you get it, because I got a little OCD on that. So all right. Well, thank you for Pilsy if you work on that. Pick that up. Thank you for Aztech for being on this. Truly one of the greatest. Go check out his store, him and his wife's store, Lola's in Cambridge. They have some really unique, awesome stuff, one of a kind. Just check it out. Go by, tell them I sent you, and go buy some stuff. All right. Talk to you. Peace.
For the plight of those without rights, I'm sick of being nice. Time to drop the mic. Put the mic down before we fight now. Put the mic down before we fight now. Just put the mic down before we fight now. I'm not asking, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, this beat is unorthodox. You might wanna call a doctor. I'm sick with my words. Out rap Sinatra, you sound quite absurd. Oh, the nerve of these piss poor rappers. Sorry for laughing.
Hey, welcome to the newest episode of the Articulate Ox podcast. I'm your host, Soma79, trying to pull up all the energy that I've not had all fucking day. We have a return guest here today, Aztech from Hybrid Thoughts. What's going on, Aztech?
Yo, what's good, man?
I don't know. How you doing? God, we go back a long way. We were together as part of Project Mayhem back in the 20 years ago. I actually had that CD sitting here for weeks, and I just put it away the other day, so I could have held it up. But
I hit you up for that old track the other day.
Yes, Countdown to Count Chocula.
Horrible.
Yeah, it was rough. It's so this is the track we recorded in just living room in Quincy with whoever was sitting there at the time. It was like me, you, Oblivious. Who else was it? Judge? I think was there, and Vet Rock, I guess. Yeah, and some of that stuff doesn't hold up.
No,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
it was a long time.
It was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad track to begin with.
Even worse to listen to now. I think I had a line that's like, "When I rhyme, I'm like Jeff Hardy climbing onto a ladder," which I still don't really know what that means, but yeah. Also, don't be surprised if it pops up in my new album.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to since we last talked? You were on here very early in the. I think you were on like episode 10 or 11, and now we're on episode 60. This is 68 or 69 or something. So, what have you been doing the past 50, 60 episodes?
Dope. Yeah. So I was actually gonna I put the first interview we did on my press kit to send out and shit, just because, to be honest, it was like my favorite interview I did last year. Just because I think the fact that we knew each other kind of like made it a better interview. Obviously, you know what I mean. I figured, fuck it, let's just sit down again instead of just rehashing, because more shit has happened. So yeah,
you and I never stopped working on shit. So it's like, I feel like it's like, I have had a new podcast that I'm doing to pop up in the past like 3 weeks that I'll be hitting you up to guest on too. So we'll talk about your stuff.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Since the last time, I'm still doing like obviously the hip hop shit and the soundtracks. I actually did a movie soundtrack out in Japan, so like an actual movie, not an anime, you know what I mean? There's a movie called My Night, came out in Japan, was part of the Tokyo Film Festival, I want to say, but that got put out by a company in Japan called LDH, who I think their main focus, I'm not too positive, I think their main focus is mainly like putting out pop music and things like that. So from what I know, the movie was pretty well received and pretty big. I haven't got a chance to see it yet because there's no way for me to watch it in America.
Yeah, that was my
But
next question. Is there any way we're gonna be able to get that over here? Or...
maybe at some point, I mean, it might end up on Netflix or something.
Yeah.
But
Anybody
yeah,
anybody in Japan want to send us a DVD and possibly a DVD player to play it in, or a link?
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good. I haven't even asked anybody out there. That's actually probably something I should do.
Do you know
Um,
what the movie's about?
yeah, so it's about three women that live in Yokohama, and they hire a dating service, these three men, and the three men kind of end up teaching them about life or whatever. I don't got too much of a gist of it. I just
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that's like the kind of like overall basis of
Yeah.
it.
I'm betting there's many
Nice.
cultural layers in there that are probably not as evident to
Yeah,
us, you know.
exactly. Yeah, it's different. But I did like four joints for that movie. Myself, Paranorm, and I think Saucy was on a joint too. Yeah,
No,
we
this
did
might be a
that,
stupid
and
question,
then
but you rapping in English on that?
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I only rap in English.
Okay, yeah. It's
Yeah,
I just so is it when in those is it that people over there understand English a lot better than we would understand foreign
yeah,
languages? Okay. That's kind of what I figured.
definitely. d- I mean, a lot of them don't, but like more so than we would hear for sure. Like as far as like everybody understanding Japanese, but I mean, it's music is universal to them. They just enjoy art, culture, things like that. So it doesn't really matter. Plus, like every one of these anime soundtracks I've done, I've rapped in English too. So
Yeah.
that's kind of just always been the gist of it. Well, I understand Korean fully, obviously, because I'm Korean, but like I speak extremely minimal Japanese, which is even being over there, it was fine. It was pretty easy to get around, anyways. So
Yeah. So
um,
you were on tour
just
in
pretty crazy.
Japan recently.
Yeah, I was out in Nagoya, Japan, in the summer, this past August. First time I did a full like circle of touring of events out there. Oh shit. It was dope. I mean, I got brought out there by an organization called the Cultural Exchange Initiative, who I became an ambassador for. They run out of a place called Showa University, which is like a Japanese institute. And there's two in the world. There's one in Japan and there's one in Boston. So they kind of brought me out there to guest speak at like a summer camp for high school kids, and that's kind of like what put me out there in the first place. And then from then on, I did like 6 shows out there, shows and appearances. I did a little bit of both, but
Wow.
it
So
was
what
the
are the
first time I got to kind of see that like the impact I actually have over there, which was pretty mind blowing for myself.
yeah, what was that like?
It was crazy, man. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, like the high school kids were excited because they're young, they're excited. Guy did the soundtrack to Jujutsu Kaisen, which is like The Simpsons out there. It's that big. But like I did. So the first like kind of indication I got was I did an in store at this place called Disc Union, which is like it's like a record store, but it's like a chain record store, like a Tower Records kind of thing.
Yeah.
Huge in Japan. Um, I did an in store there. I talked to them like the night before, well, a couple nights before, and told them I was going to be in town. So they didn't really announce that I was going to be there until like the night before. So I show up there at noon, and there's a line of like 50 to 60 people waiting there to like meet me. You know what I mean? So that was pretty crazy. I had never got nothing close to that here. Like, I mean,
Wow.
not like a show, but as far as just
Yeah,
people
yeah.
lining up to like shake my hand and have me sign a record or something like. So that was pretty dope. And then I ended up getting booked at places that were like just really ill, like not even venues. I did a show at an arcade out there, like a retro arcade.
Ooh.
That was really dope. Um, and then I did one convention out there. It was more of a like a festival. It's called the World Cosplay Summit, which was like like the Olympics, the championship of like cosplay throughout the
Oh
whole like
shit.
world. So like every convention in America and other Europe, all these countries, they do their main competition, and all the finalists go to the spot in Nagoya, Japan, to do like the finals. And I did an appearance at that.
Was it just
Um,
insane? Like the cosplay,
it
just
was
like
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Not only just like that, but like just in general, like how big it was. Like it was like, see, we live in Mass. It was like comparing like 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 Hemfest in like the
Yeah.
Boston Commons. Picture that times 5, but everyone dressed up. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God.
It was pretty wild. Yeah.
It's like
Um,
you see it like almost every convention. There's the one or two people that just go like all out. Like there's someone that's like
yeah.
dressed like the Juggernaut or like or life size Thanos. And I can't imagine like you probably get the best of the best, the cream of the crop with this thing.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy. It was dope, but to be honest, like for anyone that's been to Japan in August, they will know it is the hottest place on fucking earth, man. Like I was not prepared for it.
Yeah.
100% humidity, like
Ugh.
102, 103 degrees out every day, and that event was outdoors, so needless to say, I didn't last that
Yeah.
long out there.
Shit like
But
that's always weird because I've been in like Arizona in the middle of the summer for like work stuff, and I feel like my skin is melting like the Terminator just walking around. But then I see people they're walking around in wool suits like it's fucking nothing. And I'm
yeah,
like,
that there too, like in I guess that's the normal. Everyone was wearing long sleeves. Everyone was wearing all like, everyone was fully covered. And I was like, damn, these motherfuckers are crazy. But then like I
yeah.
talked to somebody, and you kind of learn that that actually is better because it kind of protects you a little more,
Oh yeah.
especially in
Yeah.
a place that's that intense with sun and heat and everything like that.
Yeah.
But that was the only downfall about being there in August was it was like it was hot to the point where it was like unbearable
Yeah.
at some points.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the
it was
planet
Japan,
for you.
man. Japan was just incredible. So
Just think in 20
hard,
years you'd be
hard
like
to
that
compare.
here in January.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's enjoy it all while we have
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Um, so what were the audiences like over there compared to over here? Because I know you played so many shows over here. Was this your first time playing in a foreign country, or like how
No,
was
I've
that?
played in other countries, but this was my first time like doing like a full stint in Japan like that. Um, but I mean, yeah, the crowd was dope everywhere. Everyone was super receptive, man. It's we come from the underground hip hop world here where everyone's just a dickhead. So like it's
Yeah.
it's just like the
Yes.
polar opposite. Everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's happy to see you. Um, I didn't get any like kind of like standoffish vibes. You know what I mean? They're more reserved, obviously, over there than we are, but
Right.
still, like they were excited. They
Well,
were
gee, how do
dope.
you
They
know
were
you're at a
appreciative.
hip hop show if people weren't being standoffish?
Yeah, I know, crazy. Um, but yeah, no, everybody was really awesome out there. The people that booked me, the people that brought me out there, especially, super thankful for them. I believe they're bringing me out there again this August. So
Awesome. Sounds like it was
yeah,
successful, man. That's, I
yeah,
guess you have a lot of months to prepare for August in Japan again.
yeah. Now I know. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So now I know what to expect. So
Yeah. Do you get a chance to soak in any culture over there, visit any of the I mean, I've always Japan's a little tough with me because I have tremendously bad shellfish allergies, and for me, even like
mm,
the littlest bit of the wrong thing could kill me, and I'm a little
yeah.
nervous, so I'm always like, maybe that's a better place to see on TV for me. But I've always
Well,
wanted to see like
actually,
pro wrestling over there and stuff like that.
yeah. So on both of those accounts, um, I don't eat seafood. Period. And I ate like a king over there, man.
Oh, sweet. Maybe I
Not
just need
only
to
that, but like
be with people I
Japan.
trust.
Yeah, Japan has the very unfair reputation of being expensive. It was so cheap to be there. Like I was eating full, like good meals for like $7, dude. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy,
Is
and
that
not
like
like
10
shit
million
food. Like,
yen or like that's what's the currency over there?
yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But isn't it isn't
uh,
doesn't it sound like a lot more because isn't it like a very
yeah,
high?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like 10,000 yen is like
Us Americans are so stupid. Like, oh, it's
yeah,
10,000 bucks for a Coke. No,
no, yeah, I know,
idiots.
stupid. But yeah, no, it was like the dopest part about this time is like, Tokyo's cool. Obviously, it's the main city and everything, but I didn't tour in Tokyo. I toured in Nagoya, which is it's a city, but it's not like a super tourist heavy city. So I really got to soak in more of like
Yeah, the culture.
the Japanese people there and like what it's like to live in Japan every day, more so than like being like bombarded by tourism and shit like that. I did some touristy things in Nagoya, but like it was more of like a regular city that people lived in there. And like Japan is like a very safe place, period. Like it's a very you don't got to worry about a lot of things like that. But Nagoya, I guess from what my friends in Tokyo told me, like Nagoya is more like the concrete jungle type place of Japan where it's a little more rugged.
Mhm.
And I definitely did get that vibe there, which for me was cool to see because I didn't know Japan had that kind of vibe anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a little more like rugged, a little more street there. that was really cool. There's actually like a big Chicano culture in Nagoya, like lowriders and like that kind of culture. Yeah, which I had no idea of. Um, so that was all cool. Plus, me trying to get like these soundtracks in America that I work on, it's so hard, and then when I do find them, they're so expensive. I go there and I bought them all for like $5 a piece. I came back and flipped them, so that was cool.
Yeah,
But,
that is pretty sweet, actually.
yeah,
It is wild now that it's like I like to collect music to whatever degree, and it's like you get some stuff it's only released in a foreign country, and I'm like looking up on Discogs, and I'm like, oh, it's only $30, but the shipping's another like 40,
yeah,
and it's just like,
exactly,
God damn it! Like, do I have to fly over
exactly,
there to get this?
exactly. But it was cool, man. I'm definitely like grateful for the fact, like I said, the fact that it wasn't in Tokyo, the fact that it was like in a
Yeah.
different place where I got to kind of like kick it more. And one of my the main producer I work with, Iodonic, who he lives in Osaka. He took the train down in Nagoya and we kicked it for a few days. So like for a few days I had like someone who spoke, Japanese, and I had to worry a lot less about like using like Google Translate and things like that. But
That makes a
but
big
also,
difference. Yeah.
well, that's another thing too, is like me not speaking Japanese. It was actually like pretty easy for me to get around, man. Like every machine at the train station, every thing you have to read for traveling around, it all has English options. Every menu I went to has an English option. You know what I mean? So like I didn't really have a hard time at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I
which was
my
kinda crazy.
former fiance was Czech, and she had family in Czech Republic, and we would go over there and we'd stay in like places that we would go to Prague sometimes, but we'd stay in places more further out to get that, and had that experience. And there is something nice about that. I mean, I could get by pretty much in English. I did stand out like, as an American there because I tend to stand out as an American. But like everybody's super nice. You got that unique experience, and you also nice that like you got a few days of not having to really talk, which is nice. Like
Yeah,
she handled
definitely.
all my conversations, and I'm like, oh, finally, I can just enjoy the friggin' insanity in my brain. But
Yeah, no, for
yeah.
sure.
So so what else? What are you doing? What are you doing now that you're back home? Like, what are you working on for this year?
Still doing the anime stuff. I did a few conventions when I came back. I did
Oh, you
Anime
we had one
NYC.
yesterday?
Yeah, this past weekend.
Yep, I thought I
Yeah,
saw
I
you.
was I
Yep.
just did Anime Boston the past weekend, which is why I'm like half dead right now. Those are long days, man. I did Anime NYC in November, myself and Paranorm, which is always the dopest one of the year. It's huge
Yeah.
at the Javits Center in Manhattan. We do like a big panel Q&A session there. Yeah, I did Anime Boston this past weekend, which is always cool. Same thing, panel Q&A sessions, meet and greets, things like that. I'm currently working on an actual album. It's coming a little slow. I'm collaborating with some people that I've never collaborated with too, which is nice to do sometimes. Obviously your crew is your crew, but sometimes I go through long stints of collabing with only my friends, so like it it
Yeah.
you kind of get the urge to like reach out a little bit.
Yeah, you
And
definitely it's
actually,
you grow a lot like when you work with other people too, with new people. Like
no,
it
definitely
forces you
that's
out of
what I
your
mean.
comfort
Like it,
zone.
yeah, exactly. And actually this week, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm heading back into the other studio to work on season 4 of Doctor Stone, which
Oh,
is pretty epic. Yeah, I'm pretty
that's
pumped about
awesome.
that. Yeah,
So
it's funny too because I was just talking this past weekend about it a lot. So like the most popular like title I did music for was definitely Jujutsu Kaisen because that like won anime of the year and it's huge. Everybody in the world knows Jujutsu
mm,
Kaisen, but Doctor Stone's definitely the most special to me, man. Because in its 4th season now, I've been involved in every single season of that show now. Like season 1, 2, 3, now 4, and they did like a 1 episode special last year, which I also did the music for. So like, and that shit's on Adult Swim. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
that's definitely love. You know what I mean? Like they've kept me involved in that show, like from beginning to end. There was
Yeah.
even talks about them doing a PlayStation game at some point too. But I
Oh
don't know what the
shit.
deal with that is. Yeah,
That would be nice. Yeah. What
but
so what do we have to look forward to in season 4? Is it too early to really be giving away anything like that?
yeah, kinda. I mean, if you read the manga, it's just like a continuation of the story. But yeah, it's good, man. I mean, it's a solid anime too. Solid story, solid concept. I love it. Jujutsu Kaisen was cool too, man. Like obviously that title kind of changed my life over the past few years, but like um for me, you know, I'm into like that super nerdy, like cerebral shit. So like Doctor
Yeah.
Stone's definitely up my alley a
So
little
what
more.
was it like when you found? I mean, was it really like a shock when you got Jujutsu Kaisen? Like, was it just like, how did we get here?
Yeah, it was well. I got a little bit of like a head start because Doctor Stone, you know, took off pretty well before that. But I definitely wasn't ready for how popular it was gonna be. Like I literally like even here, like I can walk out the door, go on the train, and see a kid wearing a Jujutsu Kaisen shirt like almost on a daily basis. It's crazy, you know.
Wow.
Um, so like I didn't expect it to be like as popular as it is. You know, I don't nobody even the production team in Japan didn't know. You know, because Jujutsu Kaisen was also based off a manga too, but that could go either way. People could not care. People could, you know,
Yeah.
latch onto it. But you know, it came out and like the attention it got right away was crazy. Then it got anime of the year in 2020, and now it's like on HBO Max, and you know, everyone in the world. A movie came out about it, and like for instance, like this past weekend at Anime Boston, I saw more people cosplaying Jujutsu Kaisen characters than almost anything else. You know, and
Shit.
like I said, you go to Primark, they're selling Jujutsu Kaisen t-shirts. You go to Walmart, they're selling Jujutsu Kaisen merch. Target, like all these places, and it's like to know that I did music for that show is
Right.
like
That you're part of
insane.
that is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, you know. To the point, even like you know, I'm at Lola's, you know, like 4 or 5 days a week. A lot of anime fans come in, and then you know, I have like a plaque there, you know, for JJK and Doctor Stone, and then they see that like I did that. Oh, it's almost to a point where like they don't even believe me. You know what I mean? They're like, "What do you mean? Like that's crazy? No, you didn't." I was like, "I
Yeah.
literally Google the credits right now. You'll see my face pop up." You know, and it's wild, man. Like you know, we come from the underground hip hop world. No one gives
Right.
a shit about us. So like, and you
Yeah.
don't really get looks like that in that world either. You know what I mean? Like,
It's nuts. Like I got the pleasure of having lunch with Esoteric a few weeks ago because
I seen that. Yeah,
yeah, he's a producer on this project that I'm working on. He had done a few songs for this thing Planet Orson, which is this stop motion film and graphic novel thing my friend Jared Eagle is doing. He raised like 40 grand on Kickstarter and he's like kicking ass on it. And it's funny like just talking to him about some of the things he's working on and hearing some of the names that I mean he had just come back from the set of Venom 3 and
yeah.
like he mentioned a few things related to that and possibly obviously there's some rumors regarding around the rap skills of a possible Tom Hardy, but we'll leave that for another
Yeah,
day.
no,
But it's
no, for
just
sure.
like this is like a it was wild. I mean, part of it with him is it's like, he's like the nicest guy. And it's like, it
Mhm.
obviously, he's talking to him shows you how important that is. You're a wicked nice guy too. It's like so many of these other people that were probably in the same position as like an Esoteric back 10, 15 years ago are in a much worse position now. And you see why someone like him and someone like you are in the place that you are. It makes a huge difference just being a decent
Yeah,
human being.
it's definitely like, well, I mean, people are not gonna want to work with you if you're a dickhead, but like also too, the great thing I would say that I can relate with SO on too is and we talk about this at every panel. We actually come from like I hate saying the term real hip hop, but like we come from a place where like we were brought up in this culture. We're not
Yeah.
just like nerdy dudes who rap and like
I got the
comics and
songs I
anime.
taped off
But
of WBUR from 1991 to prove it. Like I still
yeah,
have them.
no, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So like we come from this place and like this isn't to like throw shade at, but like if you like you can go on YouTube and like type in anime rap, right? And you got this whole wave of people that just rap about anime and like they dedicate their whole life to rapping about that and you know the whole quote unquote subgenre, I guess you can call it nerdcore or whatever. You know, you have all of that and me like working in anime, I've kind of gotten lumped into that and it kind of like I'm really trying to like make a point of like telling people like I'm sorry man, like that's I'm not part of that. More power to you, man. And like I'm not gonna say I don't enjoy listening to it. It's cool. I enjoy anime. I enjoy, you know, hip hop. So why would I not enjoy someone rapping about it? But I come from a different world, man. I come from a different cloth. Like I don't like I got approached to do this shit off of the merit of what I did in hip hop anyways, you know, not because I was an anime fan that rapped about anime and got put on an anime soundtrack, you
I
know.
mean, that anime rap is almost like a byproduct of
No,
everything
it
else
is.
that came
It,
together. So it's like it's almost like something that like, oh yeah, it's just a part of what I do. It's like it's an offshoot. It's like, it's I don't know.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
yeah, and I even think about that in terms of like mumble rap and stuff. It's I can't get mad about that. It's like it's just an offshoot that makes sense to the people who do it that were influenced by all the other crap everybody else put out there. But it's like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I don't like. It's fun. I did an interview with this dude named Paul Kim recently on Medium.com, and he kind of asked me about that because this dude, he's a b-boy, and he knew me from back in the day, like in the b-boy days. And he's like, so like, how do you deal with like a lot of these like newer fans you have might not be even hip hop heads, and they probably very unaware of like the longevity you have in hip hop and how long you've been doing hip hop and all this stuff. And it's like that's kind of why I do a lot of these panels and discussions. And like the name of the panel we do is called Hip Hop and Anime Soundtracks, because obviously there was always a connection there between the two cultures. But I think it's important to realize that me and Paranorm bring it from like an authentic place, not just rapping and then rapping on anime,
right.
because that can be a little like disrespectful to the culture if you really kind of look at it like in a certain way, with if you're just like using rap to like push your little like anime thing, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah, yeah,
like these guys, you know what I mean? Like I said, more power to them. Do your thing, but like see, like they rap about this stuff constantly. In like the 25 years I've been a rapper, I can probably name one song where I've actually rapped about anime in my life.
yeah.
I've referenced it here and there, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I've never like done a song about anime or an anime, So like I just it's not so much me trying to distance myself from them. It's just more so like I don't want that to kind of get lost in translation, because a lot of
Yeah.
these guys in that world hit me up for collabs now, and I'll be like, cool, man. If you wanna work that out, that's fine. But just to let you know, man, like that's not my world. I don't push my own music to that world. Like I get hired to do these soundtracks, and that's what I do like for a
Yeah.
job. But like when I put music out, I don't push it to that in that area. Like obviously anime fans naturally gravitate towards my stuff now, but
Yeah.
I don't make it a point to promote myself as an anime rapper. Just know
Right.
that like I'm fucking wearing a Raucous Records hoodie right now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's I come from a different world than that. So like it's and I don't mean that like in a pompous way either. It's just
No, but
more so
it's
like
just it's truth. And it's like I think
like I,
sometimes
and
people
like
too.
I won't really be able to give you much like insight on that scene because I don't really know about it. Like,
Yeah.
obviously I'm a fan of anime, but I don't know about the nerdcore scene. A lot of these guys I'm meeting now, but like, I don't really know about this shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna provide too much insight
I
for
think
you.
sometimes though, like you even mentioned The Simpsons before, there's a certain degree that when the show is being made by the fans of everything, that's when things kind of sometimes go to crap. Where it's like the level of experience and knowledge that you have is perfect for the success level that it has. But if you get replaced by somebody who's a diehard fan of that, I feel like that's not going to end up being good for the show. Like in general,
Yeah.
that's why I feel about the creative process.
If anime fans knew how little these creators, not even the music, I'm saying the
Yeah.
creators, how little they are into anime, they would fucking cry
And
because
I think
most of these
that's
people don't
true of
even watch
so
anime.
many. I think that's
Yeah.
true of like voice actors. I think it's even true of like pro wrestlers to some degree. There's a lot of it where it
Mhm.
really is a job, that it's
Yeah.
like, and if you treat it like a fan, sometimes it's hard to treat it like a job, like a job that you
Mhm.
want to have and sustain and see growth in and learn and stuff like that. It's
Right.
you can't die on every hill if you're there professionally, and a lot of fans will do that.
Exactly. Like even Toriyama, rest in peace, he just passed, the creator of Dragon Ball.
Yep.
He has publicly said that he was not really down with the anime, you know,
Yeah.
because like he created the manga. You know what I mean? So like it's important to kind of realize that too. Like it's I guess it's like they say it's like you know nothing is really that extravagant,
Fresh.
and
Yeah.
all
Well,
that
once you
glitters
put
and
anything
gold.
out
You know
into
what
the
I mean?
world, it's almost no longer yours to some degree. And I think having a healthy relationship with that and not having a huge ego about it, just accepting it's now
Yeah,
somebody else's
that's
and
that's
you know,
really all it is. And trust me, like I'm grateful for being involved now in the anime scene is awesome, man. You know what I mean? I'm getting to do a lot of things I never got to do as a rapper. So
yeah.
I'm very happy about it. It's just like now I get hit up by a lot of these guys, these anime rappers, and like they're like, oh, I want to do what you do. how do I do it? And I was like, I don't really have an answer, man. Like, I'm sorry, you know. But I
It is
like
really
the
hard because the answer most of the time the answer to how to get into anything in the entertainment industry is show up, be nice, ask good questions, be quiet the rest of the time, and work for
and
free and
just be
keep
there.
showing up. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
keep
just be
being there.
around. And like the one piece of advice I say, like I said this past weekend to one of them. I was like, with all due respect, your first step is probably to stop rapping about anime because they're not going to look at you
Right.
as a professional. They're going to look at you as a fan, and they don't want that involved. And like you just said, when fans get involved, things go to shit. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah.
don't want someone who's obsessed with the show to be involved in it because it's going to be self-serving, and they're not going to look at it that way. Whereas like they're going to approach a professional for it
Yeah.
instead. You know?
That's the same you see, I think about the way like Marvel hires their artists. It's like they're not looking for someone to come in and tell you how important Spider-Man was to them when they were 5 years old and show them pictures of you in their pajamas.
Yeah,
They want to know that you can get pages done on time and that they're going to look good and consistent. You know, it's
exactly.
which yeah, it's in a lot of it's like that's where a lot of people get I think wrapped up in how important passion is. I'm like passion is good for your own bedroom and your own office. It's not as great in the real world. You have to have a strategy for the real world. You know.
Yeah, 100%.
But you mentioned b-boying, and I want to talk about this because this is a little bit another thing about hip hop being in places not usually in. I was up in Maine with my parents last week. We were watching the limited channels that we get up there, and I kept seeing an ad for a Portland, Maine-based dance crew that is going to the Olympics this year for breakdancing.
Nice.
And I was
Yeah.
reminded of how excited I am about this concept of breakdancing in the frigging Olympics, which is
Yeah,
happening
man,
this
it's
year.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Who knows if I stuck to it, maybe I could be an Olympic athlete right now.
I know. I bet there's a
It's
lot of people
crazy to
saying
think of.
that. Is
Yeah.
skateboarding already in the Olympics too, or is
Yeah,
that
it was
okay?
in the last Olympics.
Yep.
Yuto Horigome got the gold medal from Japan.
Well, that's one thing I'm wondering too. So I'm thinking, we obviously got some good break dancers in the U.S. I do have a feeling that Japan may have some tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah.
There
My
may be some
guess
Filipino cultures that have some tricks up their sleeve.
Korea is
Like,
my prediction.
yep,
Korea is my prediction because every time was one of those Red Bull battles pop up or any of those World Beat comps, it's always a Korean that takes it home. So it's I think they got the advantage for that. But shout out to El Nino from the Flowloads, who was part of Team USA, which is pretty
oh,
awesome. It's a
awesome,
Boston guy.
sweet.
Yeah, very
So
very
do you know
cool.
at all like what like I probably could do some research on this and maybe I will later, if you know the answer, but do you know how it's sort of going to be set up? I mean, is it going to be mimicking like the way we've seen b-boy competitions, or I'm
I
guessing there
think
has to be more structure around it to some degree,
yeah,
Or is it
as far as I know, I think it's gonna be like tournament brackets, but with battling. It's the only way I can really see it working. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Or maybe like showcasing and like kind of judging off that. But
Right, yeah.
I would assume it would
Yeah,
be
I'd
like
like
kind
it
of
to be a
tournament
tournament.
bracket
Yeah.
style.
Because it's like if they just did it like a floor routine, they just, gave people on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, I guess they have to do that to some degree, but I don't know. I feel like this has the possibility of really capturing people's imaginations during
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Olympics this
and
year,
if
which
they
is
do
great.
it that way, like that's we're gonna be able to see like pure hip hop culture at the Olympics, which is
Right.
absolutely insane.
Makes me
And like
wonder what
that's
music they're gonna play, you know,
yeah, yeah,
like because
100%. Or who's
because
DJing?
I
Who's
know.
DJing the Olympics? Like,
I know that is a wild thought.
like that's a question that we have now. Like who's
Yeah.
DJing the Olympics?
There was a
That's
conference last week for Adobe that I usually go to, didn't go to this year, and I talked to someone who went there today, and they're like, "Yeah, Shaq was there DJing." I was like,
Shaq
"What?"
DJ.
And I'm
Yeah,
like, did they just bring him in so we can see how funny the records look in his big hands?" Like,
yeah. I actually saw him DJ.
how was it?
It was pretty good, man.
Oh, sweet.
No lie. I mean, he's got good taste in hip hop. We know that. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I still throw on some of those old records sometimes. They're not on stream. The song with him and Biggie's not on streaming,
Yeah.
but it's a dope song.
Great song. The song he did with Cannabis too,
Yeah.
which I think it's like clear as day. Cannabis wrote the verse because I don't think Shaq's rapping like that.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah. That's like whenever you hear the songs with Eminem and 50 Cent, you're like, I've never heard 50 Cent use half those words
yeah,
before.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's all dope. So, I don't know when the Olympics start, but it's got to be sometime soon if they're already advertising. It's
Thinking
going to
this,
be really cool.
thinking the summer
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, actually, I wanted to bring this up too. We might talk a little before. Our friend Donnie, oblivious to people who know him out here. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. or in the comments, he's been suffering through some spinal issues, and he's a pretty private person, so I don't want to go into too much of his stuff here. But this dude was a huge inspiration to me, and he really just taught me a lot about rhyming and rapping, and he's just a very passionate human being, and he's going through a tough time now. And I'm gonna put the GoFundMe down there. If anybody donates any form of money,
Yes,
holler
please
at
do.
yep, holler at me, and I will give you a Soma 79 prize pack commensurate with the amount of money you give. So if you give $10, I'll give you something around the area of 10 or so dollars. If you give $1,000, I'll come up with some sort of $1,000 prize. Just hit me up. We want to make sure you help Donnie. The link is in the comment, whatever. I'm gonna get it right, the descriptions. So Donnie, hope you're feeling better. He'll never see
Yes,
this.
absolutely, my brother.
Um, so let's talk about what let me see. You starting Dr. Stone. Let's see. Oh, you know what's coming up this week, which I feel like we've been talking about a lot on this podcast. We have WrestleMania coming up this week.
Yeah.
This will air after. I did an episode with you might know Sean Smoke,
Mhm.
and Jay
Yeah, yeah.
Sinatra, who's a collaborator of mine from Florida. We did an episode last night previewing all the matches. I did an episode 3SK last week where we talked about it.
Oh,
What the
dope.
hell?
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's talk some more. What do you I mean, my thoughts are well documented on this year at this point, but how are you feeling about WrestleMania this year?
It actually has potential to be really, really good, I think.
Yeah.
Which as it should be. It's 40, you know what I mean? It has potential to be good, but it's wrestling. So
You're
who knows
still
what they're
so
gonna
like
do.
there's a part of me that's like I think a lot of people are still stuck in the Vince McMahon era of this can get bad at any moment. And unfortunately, the ghost of Vince McMahon still looms over the company despite how much stock
Mhm.
he sells. Um that's something I'm finally kind of getting rid of because I'm like Triple H is in charge. Like this seems like
Yeah,
he's not gonna fuck this up. He can't fuck this up. Like
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, the way they handled the whole, it was supposed to be Rock and Roman and then the
yeah,
the uprising of the Cody thing, like, the way they handled that, I think they handled it the right way. What they're doing with it as far as,
agreed.
like, night 1 being the tag match and night 2 being the actual I think that's, I think that was the right way to handle that situation the way it happened, and, we'll see, like, what they do. I have, you know, my opinion on how it's gonna go. I think The Rock and Roman are gonna win on night 1, um, and, possibly open the floodgates to have The Rock turn on Roman on night 2,
Could be it.
considering they were supposed to, have a match anyways.
Yeah.
That's what I think's gonna happen.
I heard someone float a theory that I like is that on night 1 it ends in a DQ when Cody just loses it and beats the ever living bag out of the Rock, and then afterwards he's like,
Mhm,
"Why'd you do that? It's Bloodline rules." And he's like, "You guys were going to cheat anyway. It was always going to be Bloodline rules." And
mhm,
then what I'd love to see with the Cody Roman match is that there's interference on Cody's side, interference on Roman's side, but only to keep other people out of the match. Like I want to
right.
hear the glass shatter to come down so Austin stops Rock from interfering. I want it to be a completely clean
I
match,
feel like
only
they hinted
because
at that happening too.
yeah, because I just want there
Yeah,
to be. I want them to be everybody be Xing each other out so that Cody can beat him clean in the ring, and there'll be no dispute over him being better. Because I think they've
mhm,
also been hinting a lot of the storyline that the Bloodline's really been cheating to win, and at this point, to some degree, Roman's a paper champion because he hasn't had to fight on his own for a really long time. And I
yeah,
think they want to put credibility back on the belt. So having Cody win without there being a lot of, well, they can have this stuff going on the outside without it touching the match, I think would be a great idea. I came up with it.
no
So.
doubt.
But
I
I think
agree.
he's going over. I don't see any way they can't put the belt on Cody Rhodes.
I mean, at this point, I feel like they kind of have to. So,
Yeah. I was
so
just CM Punk was on Ariel Helwani today, and it just ended, I think, an hour ago, and I was watching it live. And he gave a hell of a candid interview where we talked about everything from Vince McMahon to his time in AEW to returning to WWE. Probably said a few things maybe he shouldn't have, but he was on good behavior.
that's what he does,
Um,
though.
Yeah, yeah. He basically just said like AEW is not a company interested in making money, and they're interested in putting on good matches, and that's what they're gonna be, and
Mhm,
he's like, I don't think they're in the same business as WWE because of that. And I think it's tough to dispute that. So,
right.
but I don't know. He hinted though, one thing he did say that was interesting is that he asked him, Ariel asked him when he thought he'd be back, and he said that the injury that it's probably more of a business decision than anything. So we think he sort of insinuated that he may be further along in his recovery than we thought.
Right.
And some real eagle-eyed person noticed that when he got out of the ring last week, he leaned over on his hurt
The
elbow.
hard arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like this is
Which
where
means
we're
he'll
at.
probably get physical this weekend then. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. We're on some real Where's Waldo shit with our wrestling now. Because even the other day, it's like the production is so good now. There was a thing the other day where they, in the very background, they had Heyman talking to Drew McIntyre. Like,
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
During like the Miz segment, I think it was, right? It
yeah,
was
yeah.
like the segment with the Miz, yeah, and then yeah.
Yeah. We're getting all sorts of new camera angles now. I'm so
Yeah, yeah.
excited about WWE at this
Plus,
point.
you know, you got the Netflix thing coming up, so like I think they're gearing more towards like kind of going back to like, you know, Attitude Era type ratings and stuff like that, which will help, you know,
Yeah.
because you know WWE still has gone through those stints of like, is it for kids, is it not? You know what I mean? And I think they've kind of come to terms with the majority of their audience are like men in their 40s. So,
Right.
you
Because
know,
even now they're starting to do alcohol sponsorship. Because when we saw The Rock
yeah,
beating the ever living tar out of Cody Rhodes the other day, when he opened the door, you saw Cody Rhodes' bus wrapped in like the whatever whiskey thing.
yep,
And it's, that's something that, I mean, if you think about how much money can come in just by opening, they've never really had alcohol sponsorships. There's so much of an
no.
untapped financial market there. So buy your WWE stock now. I mean, don't base it on me, but like,
No, but speaking of, I was just in Florida last week, and I drove by a garage that had a big Castrol GTX ad on it, and all I can think of is Monday Night Raw in like 1999 being sponsored by Castrol GTX.
well,
Literally the only thing
that is the wild thing. They were
that pops
talking
in my
about
head.
how now they're doing the Prime logo ship from the Prime
Mhm.
bottle in the middle of the ring, which is brilliant. If they had a heel come out and do it, because then if fans don't like it, they can
Yeah.
blame. But like, it does give you a level of exposure that lasts so long. Because it's like I
Mhm.
will go back and I watch old stuff, and these same ads that are on, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm in the mood for a Slim Jim, like, or
Yeah.
like this
100%.
candy that unfortunately I look up and it's been out of, they haven't made it in 30 years. I'm like, oh shit,
Right.
Skittles it is. So you plan on so this is I mean we remember the days where WrestleMania was only a few hours long. Do you plan on
Yeah.
watching all of this? Like what's your level of commitment this weekend? I know we all have
I mean,
adult stuff to
so
do.
here's the thing.
It's my girlfriend's
I'm
birthday on
home.
Friday, so I'm trying to
Well,
work how that's
see,
gonna work.
I'm in the opposite boat. I'm home alone until April 9th. My
Oh,
wife is
perfect.
still in Florida. She stayed in Florida, so I'm alone in the house. So I'm most likely just gonna watch it all. Me
Oh.
and my cat will watch WrestleMania both days. You know,
It's funny you mention that because my cats don't pay attention to TV except for when wrestling's on. For some reason, they both are like, yeah, I'm
my
into
cat
this.
is enthralled by wrestling.
It's freaking weird.
Completely, he is.
Oh, yeah,
But
my cat's looking
yeah. I
at
mean,
me now. Yep.
I got some other like things I'm looking forward to though. Like that 6-pack tag team match should be pretty dope. Those are always good at WrestleMania. You know.
Yeah. You think they're
Uh,
gonna walk away with that? Someone floated the theory that like this may be an opportunity to split the tag titles belts up by having one team grab one belt, one grab the other, and
they could.
then I don't know whether really they need that to have it split up, but that to me feels like it's like they don't want to. It would be ridiculous for Judgment Day to kind of lose it in a match like this after the reign they've had. So I'm kind of like feeling like they maybe have some plan there. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but I do think it is an opportunity to finally give R-Truth some shine because that dude is the fucking man.
He is.
Dude's in his 50s, still moves like he's 28 years old.
That
You know
was
what I
not on
mean?
my bingo card for 2023 is the reemergence of R-Truth.
Yeah, but he deserves it, man. I've been a fan of
100%.
that dude since the Attitude Era, like literally when he was K Quick.
Yeah.
Like
Him and
he
Road
he
Dogg.
deserves some shit. He deserves it, man. You know, he's worked his ass off. He got, what title did he win back? The NWA title, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he won
When
the
he was Ron
NWA title.
Killings. Ron the Truth
Yeah,
Killings. Yeah.
but he's never really gotten like a proper shine in WWE, I don't think. He was always kind of like he went from, the tag team partner of Road Dogg, and then he came. Now he's just like kind of comic relief, which he's great at. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
put something on him, either a mid card title or a tag title. He needs to
Because
have, I
fans
think.
do believe in him. It's like they've
They
somehow
love
they've
him.
done something that WWE really couldn't do well under a lot of Vince, where it's like they have these characters and maybe they get over as a one-note joke, but what next? And now he's a
Yeah,
fully fleshed out character in a way that he never has been before. And people believe he's an ass kicker. I wouldn't fuck
yeah,
with R-Truth,
yeah, exactly.
He's maybe even more dangerous because he's a little off. He's somebody you
Yeah,
got to keep an eye on, whether he's on your side or not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I fuck with that. I hope they give it to them.
Yeah,
Uh,
and they'd be
the
good
Miz
too. That
too.
it's like,
Miz is a great worker too. You know what I mean? He's
yeah,
a great worker as a heel and as a babyface. So
they're also good guys to win the title for the pop at WrestleMania, and they're also good guys to lose the title to help put over some other heels. Because it's like they probably wouldn't hold
definitely
it for too long, but they can do something with it and get sympathy when
just to
somebody
get
else
that
does it.
pop. Yeah, just to get that WrestleMania
Yeah.
pop. I think
And
they
they
can
may
do it.
also be, we're running out of time here on Damian Priest's Money in the Bank. There may be
Yeah.
some thought about we get the tag titles off of him so we can do something with Money in the Bank and not have too
Mhm.
much of it, because maybe even losing the tag titles is the catalyst to get him angry to do something with Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
I just don't know who he's going to cash it on, but
Yeah.
I think that's kind of it. I think he'll lose the tag titles and then be pissed and then cash it in later. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
Even if he did it with like the IC title or something, you know what I mean? You never know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think Gunther's losing the title here.
I don't either.
I think we're
I
gonna
think they.
see
I mean,
a
they
few.
fumbled it. It should have been Chad Gable, but I think the reason it's
Yeah.
not is I think they want Gable to win, and I don't think they're ready to let like Gunther lose at WrestleMania yet. So
I think this might be almost like this is going to lead into a Gable versus Sami Zayn feud. This may be more
I
of a
think
heel
so.
turn or something. And then because I was at the point with Chad Gable a year ago where I was just getting back into WWE, and every time he was shushing on my screen, I'm like, well, let's see what Sheldon's up to on The Big Bang Theory because I'm fucking done with this.
Mhm.
He had that sort of X-Pac level heat with me, and I
Yeah.
am fully into what he's doing now. And I even like what Otis is doing now because I think he's a
Mhm.
real powerhouse if you use him right. But Chad Gable's really on to something now.
Yeah. Can we talk about how badly WWE has fumbled Shinsuke Nakamura though?
I just saw that he's in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and I'm like, whose catering did he piss on? Because he had been
He's
kicking
lost. He's
ass.
lost his last like 35 matches,
Yeah. He
literally.
seems to be the guy left out of WrestleMania. Like it was
Yeah.
basically him, AJ, and LA Knight. They put those two together and they threw Shinsuke back in the box.
Yeah. It's crazy too because like the way they repackaged him as a heel, like almost like an anime villain. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was so dope. And it's
Great
like you
promos,
thought they were
all in
gonna do it to be like
Japanese.
like a top of the line heel, and now he's just losing everything. He's just
Maybe they have a plan for. I mean,
it's
it's like
yeah.
you can't do something with everybody
I
all
hope
the
so.
time, but it just sucks that he's the one that gets left out because
Yeah,
he's
but
such like,
he should have been a superstar, man. He should have been a star. I
yeah,
think personally.
yeah,
I'm biased, obviously, with
yeah.
Asian wrestlers, but
Yeah,
but
but he really transcends, and that's one thing with the
yeah,
WWE now is like being international is more important than ever. It's like
100%.
it's like
I
there's
mean, the way they
really
handle him is probably why what's his name never signed Okada. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, he was so tight with the Bucks too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the AEW signs Okada, they sign Will Ospreay, and they sign Sasha Banks, and their ratings
Hmm.
go down. So like,
Yeah.
I think we may see all three of them in WWE eventually.
Yeah. I think so.
Once AEW is only airing on like Jacksonville Jaguars, like closed circuit television in like a few years or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man.
What else is there
There's
WrestleMania wise?
well Ray I think Rhea versus Becky will be fun. I was talking about this how Becky to me almost kind of I wasn't really watching when she really ascended to the man. And to me she always kind of looks like almost like the Young Bucks compared to like Scott Hall where I'm like I
Hmm.
don't buy you against Rhea Ripley. I think she's gonna kick your ass and like just to make it believable. But she's entertaining to watch. But I think Rhea's just
Yeah.
amazing. She might be the best character in the company.
Did you see Goldberg throw shade at Asuka this
Yeah,
past
about the
week?
streak.
Yeah,
What the
some
fuck
Japanese
is
girl's
wrong
like,
with you?
motherfucker, she's like, she got more talent in fucking one hand, dude. Like,
Goldberg is so
yeah.
good at like saying something stupid, kind of earning his graces back, and then doing it over again. Like he
And
can't
how
he
much of
can't
a
keep stupid out of
cornball
his mouth.
and how much of a cornball do you need to be to hold so much for a scripted
I
record?
know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know. For a guy that was
uh,
lucky to be, I mean, obviously what he did was significant, but he was lucky to be there in the first place. It's like it was crazy
100%.
that actually worked out. And we all
And
remember him
fucking
fighting
giving Bret Hart
The
brain
Undertaker.
damage
Well, you what?
when he gave kicking
But
Bret Hart in the
but
head
yeah,
too and everything. Like, it's
yeah, and I'll tell you, Bret Hart's not over that physically, mentally, or
no,
emotionally. I
no.
love Bret Hart. I watch a lot of wrestling interviews now, and I found that I'm more personally like Bret Hart and CM Punk than I probably would care to admit. Whereas, like
Hmm.
in some regards, I think we take like I'm not going to put myself in the we with them, but like the taking yourself a little too seriously in some regard, and then as you get over, going, okay, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal, but I still don't like people being a dick, you know.
Right, right. You know who's
So
got a really dope YouTube channel? If you've seen, Maven's. Have you seen Maven's YouTube
yes, I've been
channel?
watching that. Yeah.
So good. It's so
It
dope.
is. Yeah, he's really sharp. And I like now it's like he seems like he's like driving home from work doing episodes. He's like really fitting it
Yeah,
in where he can.
yeah. No, I like it. I fuck with it
He's gonna be back at some point. I think he's been getting a lot of good shine off that, you know, and I think
Yeah,
he might pop up again.
in
Um
some capacity for
yeah.
sure.
I sometimes watch Rene Dupree's Cafe du Rene. That
Hmm.
one is insane. It's like I
That's
feel like
funny.
those dudes love jumping to conclusions and just like burying
Right.
people. But I don't know. Paul London's got some good stories.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Should be a good WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm
Like
excited.
I said, I'm home alone, so I'll be watching
Yeah,
it.
which I think we talked about this last time. That is the best way to watch wrestling because I tried to watch a little wrestling last week when I was up with my parents, and like the um the suspension of disbelief is so paper thin on wrestling that to have a
Yeah,
non-wrestling fan in the room is just like the
yeah.
rotten
I
apple.
can't
But
watch it. I can't watch it with my wife.
I can't watch
She
it with
like
my
tells me to
girlfriend.
turn it
Yeah,
off.
I'm just
So
like
it's a
even
lot
when
of
she offers,
taping
like
it.
just put it on. I'm like, you don't get it. I'm like,
No,
it's
I'd
not.
rather not.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to have to justify things that I just have learned to accept when I'm by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. And that is the
Exactly.
thing too. So they're comparing now to the Attitude Era. There is a little less there's a little less cringeworthy stuff now. I mean, obviously, if you don't buy into the idea of fake fighting in small clothing, then yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
but like there's a lot less of like stuff that you're totally embarrassed by. Like, because there was some
Yeah.
stuff in the Attitude Era. I'm like, I don't want people walking in the room when Miss
Yeah.
Kitty's doing that, or like Mae Young is giving birth to what hand, or
A hand.
oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. Oh man. It's funny because even going back and watching those old joints now, like on the network, it's like this doesn't really hold up. It was
I know.
amazing, but like it's like watching it now, it's like, oof, I was watching
Yeah.
this as a kid. Like it's so fucked up.
Yeah, I know. And you're just like, and then you watch some of those old pay-per-views you remember as being so good, and you're like, there's like a whole hour in here where like nothing happens. And
Yeah.
it's like, why am I watching like Sparky Plug versus like Doink the Clown? And it's not even the original
Yeah.
Doink, you know?
Sparky plug. Yeah.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm glad that
Hilarious.
stuff's out there though. I've been watching more and more. They actually I haven't bought a wrestling video game in forever because I'm really not in the video games. But I bought the this one this year because I was so excited about wrestling. I had to get the new WWE 2K, and
It looks dope.
it's awesome.
I'm
Like
I'm a retro I'm a retro gamer, so like I don't have any even have like a new system. I do the retro stuff.
I still got my No
So
Mercy 64
I
right
still
down
play
here,
No
so I
Mercy.
can pull that out.
I still play No Mercy on the regular. Still play No Mercy, still play WrestleMania 2000. Then I
No
go even
Mercy
further
was
back.
always it was always funny to me that No Mercy had like three real songs in it, and one of them was Bring the Noise by Public Enemy and Anthrax.
Yeah.
Like what I don't know why that was. It's not like anybody was coming out to that back then, but that was like one of to me the most quintessential hip hop songs of my youth. So that's what I was coming
Speaking
out
of
to.
music during that time, you know what I found at a flea market? I think it's at the store though, it's not here. Remember the Aggression album?
Yes, I have that somewhere. I have the CD
Aggression?
somewhere.
There,
I
there-
remember
there's some
telling
there's some joints on there, man.
I know. I told a friend of mine years ago I was opening for R.A. the Rugged Man. He's like, the guy from the WWE Aggression album? I'm like, if that's where you know him from. I think he did the Chris Jericho song.
Chris Jericho's theme, yeah. Method Man did the Rock.
Yes.
Uh,
Um,
there's
there's
some shit
also a
on there.
song where the Rock that's not
Cool
on
Keith,
that.
Cool Keith
Yes.
was on there.
He does I know
He
Run
did
DMC
Mankind.
and who did Cool Keith do?
It was Cool Keith and ODB did Mankind.
Oh, I haven't heard that in forever. That doesn't I now that you say I know it exists, but like I know Run DMC did
Yep.
DX. I
Yep.
forget who else did that. But there was a song on Wyclef's second
Like, it was
album with
like
The Rock on it.
yeah, it doesn't
It
matter. I think was the
doesn't
name of it.
matter.
Yeah. But even that Aggression album had like a bunch of underground, like Peanut Butter Wolf and Dame Grease did like the
Yes.
Ministry's theme and shit.
I definitely
Rock
I
from
went
Helter Skelter did Vince McMahon's theme.
I
It was
want to do
crazy to
I've been
see.
thinking about trying to do a remix of Eric Bischoff's I'm back and better than ever.
Yeah.
Kind of because I want to try to
There's
get him on my podcast.
there's two themes that I've always wanted to rock to, like do a version of, was the Gold Dust theme, but I think Helter Skelter did it actually, and then the Brood theme, the Gangrel Brood
Oh
theme.
yeah,
I always
that's some
thought,
of the best ever. Well, Little Uzi Vert, didn't he just do one of Shinsuke Nakamura? I think it was him. He did a song. Yeah. So I guess that's been taken, but I mean, I feel like that's something that everybody should be. That to me is the greatest entrance music of all time for wrestling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wrestling. Yeah. Oh, man. Cool. So what? Anything else you get going on that God, talk about the store a little bit because I don't think we got into that very much last time.
Yeah, definitely. So it's my wife has been a designer slash stylist for over 20 years. She's styled Erica Badu, she's styled Ladybug Mecca from Diggable Planets. Like she's
Those are big
she's
jobs. Those people.
she's an insane. She's super super dope at what she does. But the business Lola's has been around since 2007. In different areas, different parts. Sometimes a store, sometimes a studio slash showroom. But currently now we're going into our third year of being in Central Square in Cambridge, which is good. Yeah, it's like a mix of handmade, upcycled fashion that she does. We sell some vintage and a lot of we work with a lot of like Japanese and Korean brands. We do like a lot of Japanese, Korean street style stuff there too. And then I slang some hip hop and anime merch out of there too. So it's like a mix of all that stuff.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's dope. It's real dope. I mean, we're kind of like the only of only that kind of thing in at least in this city, um,
Yeah.
which is definitely like helped garner like a pretty dope reputation with us as far as especially where we are. We're right in between Harvard and MIT, so like it's a lot of people that aren't from here that are looking for that kind of fashion,
Right. And not to be
find us. So
stereotypical, but there's a large Asian community at both of those
yeah, I mean
universities as
that's
well.
90% of our customer base is Asian girls. So
Yeah.
that's
not a bad place
who's
to be.
that's who's willing to you know
And if
dress
you're
in
at
the
those
eclectic.
schools, most of them have a little coin in their pocket too, because those places aren't cheap to go to. So that's
So definitely.
it's a good location. That really helps.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's been cool. And plus, it gives us a home base, a place where they can find either me or her at pretty much any day, if anyone's looking for us or anybody wants to, chop it up or do anything like that. I do a lot of interviews at the store just because I'm there all the time. I do, things like that. It's good to have a base, and it's a place that I can premiere music a lot too. A lot of new things I do, I play there, and catch kind of the reception that way. It's
That's so
dope.
dope.
We got a good thing going on. It's just it comes with the struggles of running a business and
Right.
being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, especially this time of year. It's tax season. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, get those things
it's
in if you haven't
a,
yet, running out of time.
it's a little bit of a hectic time of year for us,
Yeah, I remember my dad
I
telling
mean,
me. My dad ran his own
so
machine shop, and he said that when you're your own boss, when you work for yourself, your boss is always an asshole. And
always.
yeah, and it's like I guess that's the only way you can be successful. Because I don't have I've worked for somebody else my whole life. I don't have the I need to do that. I wouldn't last
You
a
work
day in my
you
own.
work 80 hours a week for yourself to not work 40 for somebody else.
Yeah.
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 That's pretty
And
much what it
it took
is.
me a long time to find somebody who I felt comfortable giving my 40 hours to someone else. And I got extremely lucky with who I did. Cause like,
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean,
yeah,
that's what it's about.
I spent 18 years at a company. And by the end, I literally went on sick leave for 3 months because I was chewing my tongue to the point that it was bleeding. And I'm like, I think my stress level is a little higher than it should be. So I went on like long-term disability, came back, quit my first day back because I got an offer at my current job and haven't thought about it since.
Mm,
So fucking that shit means a lot. Like, doing
100%.
what you want to do at our point in our lives is like huge because obviously we
Yeah.
look around at a lot of our peers and they're not doing what they want to do, like even as a hobby.
Hmm. Definitely not. Yeah. I mean, yeah, luckily, I mean, you know me, I've never let go of that shit. So it's like it got to a point where like I just held on to it for so long that like now like that's just what it is now. I mean, I've definitely like lucked out with the position I'm in as far as finding that lane of soundtrack work and all that stuff. But that's all due to the fact that I didn't ever kind of like let go or stop. You know what I mean?
I was talking to
Never was able.
Brian Life, right?
That's my brother, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I had him on a little while ago, and he was
I'm
talking
yesterday.
about. Oh, sweet. Yeah, he was talking about
Yeah,
how I think it was his sister or something was like, so when are you gonna kind of like give up on like the hip hop and the dressing? And it's like, I'm like, this is just the way it's. I think when we were kids, there was nobody in their 50s or 40s. I don't want to age
that's
this
all
too
it is.
quickly. Yeah, and it's like we're now the first people that are up that age that are gonna look
Yeah,
like that,
it's
so people
because hip
couldn't
hop was
picture
still young when we were young. You know what I mean? Hip hop was still young, so like, yeah, you didn't have older people still, doing that.
Yeah. You would not
That's all it
believe
is.
the gaudy ass pair of sneakers I ordered today. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I'm like, they're these Ewing ones, and they're less gaudy than these Ewing ones. I mean, they're more
Mhm.
gaudy, and I'm just like, I'm 45, going to be rolling around Northampton with these hot pink, light blue sneakers, and I can't wait to
Hey,
do it. Like,
fuck it.
if
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
my
Same
parents would
thing,
have been
man.
pointing
Yeah.
to someone like me when I was 10, going, "Don't grow up like that, idiot." I'm
Yeah.
like,
Totally.
whatever.
It's
Listen,
my mother's the same way because not only is she, 76 years old, but she's also an immigrant. So like it's she kind of looks at me like, so you're still like for instance, I mean, she's accepted the music thing because obviously it's I've gotten success now, but
yeah.
like uh things like watching wrestling, she found out like a month ago that I still watch wrestling and she was like appalled.
It's so funny you bring that up because, like I said, I just spent a week with my parents, and it was they're in their early 70s as well, and they're retired up in Maine. They've never been on like Facebook, any of this stuff, and like it
Mhm.
really occurred to me just how little validation I should be trying to get from my parents because they don't understand. Like this is something funny that happened. All right, so I don't want to mention the name here, but actually I'll cut it out later. But Wax, you know who Wax is?
Yeah.
The rapper? Okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
someone I know, so it was a one song by Wax that I played for my dad a few songs that times he loves called Scumbag. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
my dad likes this song that we both like. And I'm like, somebody I know by some coincidence is working on something with Wax. And he's like, we might be able to get you to do something together. And I'm like, perfect. This may be some road to some sort of validation to my dad. And I'm with him last week and I put the song on my dad. Remember this song? He just goes, nope. I'm like, that's
Amazing.
it. I just need to accept that I just need to be here to enjoy my family, and maybe I'm asking for too much, emotionally.
Amazing. But I do get what you're saying about like the little like nuggets that you can get validation from your parents with. Because like when my mom saw me hanging out with freaking Rufio, she knew I
Yeah,
watched him as a kid, and now like I was hanging out with him. She's like, okay, so I guess you're really you're doing something, you
yeah.
know?
I had to when I had lunch with Esoteric. I'm like, I had to put it in something that they have context with. I'm like, this guy performed at the halftime of the Celtics opener this year. Like, really? I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
we've landed on something.
hey, something.
Yeah.
There's something.
But I
I
think
gotta hit him
too,
up. Actually, I wonder if he's gonna be at Fan Expo this year or not. 'Cause I think I might actually be able to catch it. So
at the what catch what?
at Fan Expo this year, I
Oh,
missed it last year because I was in Japan.
okay.
But I
Where is
think
that gonna be?
it's usually at the not
Oh,
the high
you mean
school.
Boston Comic Con is what I still call it in my
Yeah,
head. Yeah, I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
try to
That's what.
go this year. Every year, it was since COVID. I've been like, I finally got on a plane for the first time since COVID to San Francisco last month, and now I'm going to San Antonio and Austin to perform in a few weeks. So now I'm like back
Oh,
at
dope,
it. So like, I'm doing my
dope.
first shows like. Solo shows in probably 10, 15 years. Actually, the first solo show I ever did was your record release party. So it's fitting we're
Yeah, we
talking
talked
about
about that
that.
last time. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so I plan on closing with the Humpty Dance.
Fire,
Yeah, I figured that these people are
fire.
never going to remember me, so I have to do something at least different. And I'm like, I've been rehearsing the Humpty Dance, and I'm like, I'll do a few songs, and it'll be almost like when Andy Kaufman does the bad Elvis impersonation, then he does the good one at the end. I'm gonna see if I can pull that off. So,
Nice,
uh,
epic.
yeah,
Austin's a dope place.
yeah, I've
Austin,
been
San
there a
Francisco.
little. I've
Yeah,
never been to
yeah.
San Antonio, but I've been to Austin a little bit years ago. It'll be fun. You know,
Oh yeah.
getting to meet some of the dudes like Wordplay, the Flyest MC from Alaska. He's coming down for
Hmm.
that, and meeting my man Concept down in Texas, and we're doing
Dope,
some shows. So, but
dope.
yeah. So, any upcoming shows here?
Uh, yeah. Actually, I got it. Actually, kind of got a lot. Hold on. Should probably
This will
talk
be
about
out
that.
around mid-April.
Yeah, perfect. Actually. So next up, I have. So I'm also aside from my own shit, I'm working with this Japanese rock band right now
Really?
called Shori Kubrick. Yeah,
What are
So
they
I'm doing
called?
some stuff with them. Shori Kubrick.
Ooh, I like that name.
Shori Kubrick. Yeah. They're cool. Really, really good. So I'll be with them April 19th at the UMass Boston Japan Festival.
What day is that? April
Perform with
19th?
them there.
You
April
say April
19th, yeah.
19th? I'm gonna be in town that night
Yeah.
for the Atmosphere show at House of Blues.
Dope, because that's during the day too. So
Oh, sweet.
the
Maybe you'll
UMass
see
Fest, yeah.
if my girl's gonna take the. Is I also had, oddly enough, the company I just complained about making me chew my tongue off. They're having a reunion in Cambridge that night, and I'm thinking about going. So I
Oh,
may
word.
be there the whole day. I was gonna see what's up with my girlfriend. I might take that day off because going to San Francisco the next day. All right, what else you got?
April 27th, I'm at the Boston Japan Festival at the Boston Commons. I'll be there. And then May 5th, I'm doing the Asian Music Festival in Harvard Square.
Cinco de Mayo, perfect day
Uh,
for it.
yep. And June 15th, I'm doing a show at Showa University, which is the Showa Institute, which is the Japanese school in Boston. They're the ones who send me to Japan every year. So like they do like a party. So like the whole thing, the organization that they are, the Cultural Exchange Initiative, is they have this program where like they send Americans to Japan to help teach. There's one program where they're teaching like elementary school kids, not teaching, but it's like a 3-week like summer program, 2-week summer program with elementary school kids, and then there's another one with high school kids where like you're teaching them how to do a presentation in English, and that's what I guest spoke at last year.
Wow.
And they do an
How old
exchange.
are these kids?
The elementary kids are like young, like
Like
kindergarten,
9.
first
Oh
grade, but
wow.
then the high school kids are seniors, so it's like their last thing they're doing before they go to university to college. So these are like literally like some of the smartest kids in Japan because they're getting ready to go to Nagoya University, which is like a
Right.
super prestigious school
Yeah.
of Japan. So like when I talk to these kids, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to like enunciate, and 75% of these kids spoke better English than I did, literally.
That's the
So it
fun.
was
That
like,
was
yeah,
like
I was
my
blowing my
my
mind.
ex was like that too. That she
Yeah.
spoke better. She's Czech. She spoke better
Um,
English than everybody I knew.
so they do like a big info session at the school in Boston every year, and I've been performing at it for the last couple of years, and I'm doing it again this year. That's in June.
That's awesome. So you do like speaking. So if somebody wanted to bring you in to do some sort of a speaking gig, that's something that you know.
I do that a lot now. Almost just as much as performing, if not even maybe a little more, to be honest. Like all the panels I do at the conventions, the Q&A sessions, all that stuff. It's all a lot of just speaking. And I've always been kind of that tip. I was a teacher too, so like
Yeah.
I've always been kind of a speaker kind of person. It's always kind of been like something I think I'm pretty good at. So like it kind of makes sense that I've kind of garnered that route. And the panel that me and Paranum do, it's not just it turns into a Q&A session about like what we do in the industry, but like it also has turned into like kind of this big thing we have about trying to bridge the gap between hip hop and anime, which in turn is bridging the gap between Asian and Black culture. It was because as us being an Asian and Black duo too, it kind of like sets a good precedent there where we're trying to like from an authentic place, like blend two cultures together and kind of like that to be the norm. Well, like a lot of times in anime, you'll have like a rap scene, but it'll be so corny because it's written by somebody who doesn't know about hip hop. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or having kind of like a stereotypical Black character in an anime, or you know what I mean? Or you have like we talked about earlier, dudes who aren't really cut from the hip hop cloth being anime rappers because they want to rap about anime and have fun. So it's kind of like us coming from an authentic place and like trying to like bridge the two gaps together like that.
Yeah, man. It's
So
funny. Like that's a lot of what I try to do here is I'm trying to find people in different cities and like try to form some sort of a network. Like I mean, it's talk about I'm going to perform with people I've never met before in person in a city never been to from Alaska. It's like there is sort of with hip hop turning 50, I think this is a good time for people to start remembering the roots of hip hop and preserving them and finding ways to come together to because there are less and less of us that really believe in the true spirit of hip hop. So we need to be better organized, you know?
yeah, I agree.
It's because it's gonna slip away
Definitely.
from us and it's we're already losing the original generation and we ain't gonna
Hmm.
live forever. But
I know.
you know,
It's my birthday just passed too, and it's like, yeah, you look at the number. I'm not saying my age, but like you look at the age, and it's like I remember when so and so, like my uncle or somebody was that age, and I was like, wow, he's so old.
Yeah.
And
I turned
like,
45.
I wonder why.
Yeah. I turned
Yeah,
45 this month. And I'm just like, I remember when my parents were there. I remember going to my parents' 40th
that
birthday.
that's what I mean. Like, I remember when my parents were as old as I am now, and it's like, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I wonder where I'm going to be in life, and I didn't think I'd be still a rapper rapping on Japanese cartoon soundtracks, but
I know. I was
that's
drinking
where
out of a
life brought
Care
me.
Bear mug the other day, and I'm just like, this actually all worked out pretty well. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm pretty glad I'm not dressing the way adults dressed when I was a kid. I mean, that feels like a win. Like,
Same.
I don't have any
I mean, look
pleated
at
pants.
still have toys and everything all
I
over the
know, and
place. So
I
it's
see too. Like I have like my Flash superpower. My first action figure I ever had was the Flash superpowers figure. It's still sitting over there from my tub when I was a kid, and I'm
nice,
like, that's a pretty good investment of about $5 in 1983. Like, I mean,
right?
it's.
I mean,
Uh,
literally right next to me, we got Ric Flair here.
oh, I have Bruce Beefcake and the Honky Tonk Man from the same line.
Nice, nice, nice. Hell yeah!
I just,
This is
man.
my newest. My newest grab was this Fire the Bruce Lee Funko Pop.
Oh, that's
That's the
dope.
newest grab.
Oh
Yeah.
man. This is totally. I'll let you go in a minute,
Yeah,
but
man.
that get me thinking. Crow, if you have any interest in this new Crow movie they're making, which I just found out about, and I don't know what to think about.
So I don't know. I'm like a very very big Crow person.
Oh, I
I don't
don't
know if
know.
you
I
know that,
saw
but
Crow in the
I
theater,
did
I
that
think
big.
6 or 7 times when it came out. It was playing in a 250 theater near my
Yeah.
house, and we went to go see it like 6 or 7 times. I love that movie.
So like I'm like obsessed with. So like I rock that Crow truck line jacket like all the fucking time too. Like I'm just and I don't know. I'm gonna watch it just on principle. But I'm pretty worried. I
Yeah.
don't think it was necessary. He looks like a SoundCloud rapper. But
Yeah, the
they got him
first
looking like
I
a
go in with
SoundCloud
an
rapper.
open mind, but the first few things I heard, I was like, "Ooh,
I
that's
don't
not
know. They
good."
could have left it alone. They could have left it alone. I
Well, how
get
would
like
did you
wanting
ever see
to
the sequels? I don't think I ever even saw any of the sequels.
City of Angels or whatever.
Yeah, and I think they made more after that.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw City of Angels. I didn't watch anything after that. But I
yeah, it
mean,
tells you how good City
the
of
only
Angels
thing that
probably
exists to me
was.
is the original movie.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean that's like they made
but
like four from Dusk Till Dawns, but I'm not gonna waste my time watching it.
and like the Lost Boys, they made like two sequels to the
I
Lost
did
Boys,
see
and it's
one
like
of
that
those.
doesn't count.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think one of the Corys popped up in the post credit sequence on the one that I watched.
he did as a vampire. Corey Haim did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's like one of my favorite movies ever. The
Oh,
first one. So like,
that was a big one. I mean, you're not telling your
you
age, but
remember
you're
in
sort of
the
telling your age because
I
I
know.
watched. I remember that when it came
Remember
out.
the remember on the Project Mayhem album when I was like I convinced Holbrook to sample Cry Little Sister.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the best songs in that album.
I haven't heard that shit in so long. That
It's
album.
on my Bandcamp page. I think you can download it for free. I think I
Is it
put it up
really?
there. Actually, you know what? I didn't because I didn't have I put the CDs up there. I think because I had some left. And I'll send you one if you want one. But the
Yeah, I'll take one.
yeah, send me
That's
your I can
available.
send it to Lola's because I have a bunch of stickers and stuff I can send you too. I have a bunch of new ones made.
Okay, word. Yeah,
But
yeah.
and actually we're putting out Pillsy and I are putting out an album. We just put out an album, The Quiet Life Loud Friends, but actually yesterday I sent out to be pressed up. We're doing a remix. We're doing an album with bonus tracks with copyright and like a whole remix of the entire album too. So that's coming out.
Oh,
I'm
dope.
plugging my own shit now. But
Dope. Nah, fuck it, man. Hey,
yeah.
shit.
Actually, one more question for you. I was able when I was at a store that I wish I could remember what they were named now, but they were in Beacon Hill in Boston, and I picked up a piece of vinyl that you and I usually pull vinyl out of Guess before, but today was nuts.
The
Um,
Southgate, right? Was it the
yes,
Southgate?
great album. I was so pumped
Thank
to
you.
see it in the store, and I'm gonna give a plug too, since we're giving plugs. I haven't even listened to this yet, but I got this the other day. Heroes
Oh,
album.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
So I love the art on it and everything he does is freaking amazing. So
Yeah.
can't wait to check this out. But what was so when did you press that up or did someone else press that up? Because I'm fascinated with
No.
how we're able to get these things into stores. Because I'm thinking about pressing up a bunch
So
of.
I have about 100 of those sitting next to me right now still.
Well, I got about
This
400
came
of my
out in,
last album.
I think 2018 maybe it came out. There's no date on it. I think
Yeah.
no 2019 I put that out. So no, that got put out under a label, but so that album actually the guy I did that album with my homie Mindspawn, who is a legend in his own right. He's got an Emmy award under his belt, everything like that. He is so originally when I started rhyming as a teenager, he was the first real engineer I ever had, like a real studio I ever went to. and then we reconnected like 15 years later and made that album together because we just reconnected on a whim. But he's more versed in dark ambient music, is what he does on his own thing. But he's always had like a liking to like hip hop, making hip hop beats. So he kind of combined the two styles together, and then we made that. That's why that album's a little darker, than my usual stuff. And we never put that out on digital. We never put it out on streaming. That was a strictly vinyl release.
Yeah, because I saw it.
So
I was like, I've never seen this before. Because I try to listen to everybody's stuff.
The only place you see that. Yeah, the only place you can catch that is in record stores. Everyone always, sends me pictures like of this. Like, what the hell is this? It's you can find it in record stores everywhere, but that's it. It was a vinyl only release, and it got released under a dark ambient label called Dark Seeds. So that they put that out. But it was cool. I got to get a lot of like the homies on that and on beats that wouldn't have been on like typically, like Judges on there, Paranom's on there. Did a song with Casper on there too. You know what I mean? Like, so that was cool. It's actually like, I don't know, maybe we'll put it out on streaming at some point because I do like there's some shit on there. A song like Me Cannabis and Relentless.
Yes,
I'd like people to hear that.
The whole album is fucking dope, man. I was so happy to listen.
Yeah, I like it. It was definitely,
I was scared it was a different Aztech when I picked it up. I'm like, hopefully it's the right person. Like, it seems right.
Well, that's the only project I went by Aztech Yi on.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I think that helped. Yeah, because I knew your last name. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm on the back too, but it's like this picture of me and this old white guy. Like, what the hell's going on? Like,
that's like what I'm looking at right now is a picture of you and an old white guy. Actually, speaking of old white guys, I forgot to ask you this last time. Neil Knotts. I remember back in the day that he worked with Third Base, right? And I remember that you had
done also part of Gangstar Posse, the original Gangstar Posse too.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Is he still
around? Third Base.
What was the work you did with him?
It is crazy that you're bringing that up because I just talked to him 2 days ago for the first time in a long time.
Him and Brian.
He's back to. Well, I see Brian all the damn time, but he's back to making beats now. He's so good, man. He's just that classic hip hop shit. He's still doing his thing. He stopped for a while. He opened a barbershop in Haverhill. He was doing that for a while. He has a family. He had, got married, has kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's now that he's settled, he's back into into producing and
kids
stuff like that. He's gonna have to
go back to the old hobbies.
Yeah, he'll have a beat on my new album.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Sure. That's what I hit.
Yeah. Because I was Googling him like not long ago, and I'm like Neil. I was like doing all the different spellings of Neil and Knotts because I was just like, he's got to still be out there doing stuff. So because I remember him being awesome, so I'm glad to hear he's kind of back at it.
His beats are still so good, man. It's that dusty sound, that choppy, dusty sound.
I gotta check. I was listening to MC Search's solo album not long ago. That album is actually amazing. And I forgot to check if he did any beats on that, but that album's I can't remember what it's called now, but that and Back to the Grill Again's on the album. I forget what the actual album's called, but highly recommended. So all right, man. We really covered a lot of bases this year. And it's been a pleasure as always. And I gotta make sure I get out to one of those shows you're putting on. I'm gonna see if I can get out that day of the 19th.
If you're ever in Cambridge too, just stop by the store, man. I'm there almost every day. So
I'm trying to find more excuses now to get out that way because like it's just no one comes out to Western Mass. I'm like telling everybody, got a place to stay out here. I got a 4-bedroom house, and people are like, I'll catch you on the flip side. But hey, if you're ever out this way, you're welcome here to stay as long as you want. You're another wrestling fan around, so
no doubt. Yeah, likewise.
All right, man. It's always a pleasure.
All right, brother.
Meet Ann with wings clipped, quick to flip manuscripts. Cause her man went from damaged kid to damn he's rich. But she still can't stand the way he manages to never put nickels in the can for the cancer kids. Plus he cheats at cornhole and brags that he won. So she lost interest like porno after she comes. My DM started jingling, baby, as it was done. 2 seconds later I can hear the snapping of her gums. She calls me half Dodge Challenger, half Lip Gallagher. I'm happy that I luckily sat next to her in algebra. I tried to hold her down, but I just couldn't balance her between the million meetings that I keep in my calendar. Plus odds aren't too sloppy that I know why my cell is blowing up probably, but I should check just as well. Call the cops, see if I can get a hold and tell if that's copyrights Yale raising hell inside the holding cell. Smell the smoke
on the radio. Throwback Friday, all the ladies know. Then I'm a smooth type guy. Listen, I'm the shit I need, 2-time ply. Part of my soul on my head sky high. The weed smoke cover my body, so I try. Put a scent on like sunblock. Summertime's body season, so keep your gun cocked. I count beers in the cooler, cause when the fun stops, that's when the arguments happen. In the gunshots, it's summertime, backyards where we play cards. Spitting in cypher, the homie trade bars. Dominoes slam on the table, we take